get to those at the end of the demo today. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, some people in the comments here. Len says he's already been testing Data Link. It is freaking awesome. I guess I can say that on the air. I really enjoy it. Makes the Blender workflow so much easier. I'm just going to share my screen right now first, and we'll go through a couple more things here. As always, if you're a teacher and educator involved in education, make sure that you go to our global training center. And if you're interested in grabbing any of our software, you get the 10% discount in the content store, or not the content store. You get 60% off for software. I just finished saying the content store stuff. So I'm going to put this link in the chat window for you guys, just so you have it. And bang, bang, there we go. Hopefully everyone can see that. So if you have any sort of educational connection, make sure you apply for that. And you can also get the big discount here. Go further down here and learn all about all the fun, cool stuff that we can learn about in Reallusion. All right. And yeah, that's the Global Training Center. As always, we have our Reallusion courses page, courses.reallusion.com. This is probably where you found and signed up for the webinar. If you haven't visited this page, if you just signed up some other way, make sure you check this out for all of our tutorials. You can see the library here, all the tutorials for different products. And these are all the new ones that just came out. So if you click on library, all the new ones that have recently been released are all sitting here. And webinar. This is the one we're going to be talking about today. Reallusion 3D pipeline production workflows with Blender and Unreal Engine. So like I said, we'll be focusing mostly on Blender, the data link aspect of Blender, which like I mentioned is really cool. And thank you to Victor Supe, the individual who has blessed us with this amazing tool. And it just got updated, I think, a couple weeks ago, maybe September or October. I forget. Anyways, we can take a look at that later. But yeah, we'll be talking about this. I don't want to go through the overview too much because I'll just basically show you what we're going to do. And we're going to take some stuff from ActorCore as well. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And then we'll do an animation scenario. We'll do a bit of editing in Blender. I'll show you how to rigify. And then I'll show you also how to do some morphs using the data link in Blender, which is really cool as well. Very simple, very easy process. And then finally, we'll get into Unreal Engine, do a little bit of sequencer stuff, and get our production. Just put it in a sequencer, whatever. All right, cool. All right. So this is the main page. If you want to find out where all the Blender stuff is, just go over to Products and Character Creator. It always opens new tabs, which I hate, but I'm sure a lot of you do as well. In Overview here, you'll find Pipeline, and you'll find Blender Overview, Blender Auto Setup as well. This is the one that you want to install. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the installation process because like I said, we do have tutorials on this. I'm going to actually put a tutorial link in the chat here for you guys. And this is going to be the getting started with Blender data link. Actually, you know what? That's not launched yet. I think that'll be launched this week. So make sure you check back on our YouTube channel. I think it'll be launched in the next couple of days. It's just basically an updated version of the Blender auto setup stuff. And actually, if you search in Google here, what do you just Blender data link iClone? There you go. It's my history. This is the one tutorial that Victor Supe himself did. I'll put this link in the holy crap, that was loud. Sorry about that. And hopefully it wasn't as loud for you guys as it was for me. But I'm going to put this link in the chat for you guys as well, so you have this. Some of the stuff that I'll be going into in this webinar today is coming directly from this, so you can see the good comments for Victor's awesome tutorial. So if you're learn how to install stuff like that, the installation is very simple, but I'm not going to do it just because I've already done it. And you can just check out this tutorial. Highly recommend checking it out. It's basically just copying some folders back and forth. All right, and all the links here, by the way, are in here. He has the Blender add-on right here. So this is where you can find the Blender add-on and the CC4 iClone 8 tools plugin. You can find the links both here. All right, now if you're going to get this, make sure that you've uploaded the most recent version. And to find the most recent one, you just go over here to like releases and just click on the latest one right here. I found a little bit of an issue going to the the one above this. This is 2.1.9, which is actually working well for me. But I, for some reason, had a little bit of a snafu with I think the pre one, yeah, the pre-release one right here. So 2.1.10 here. So this one was stable for me though. So you can try both if it works for you. It's probably just my computer or something, but yeah, you get the files here, the source code. You unzip it, just add it into the Blender add-ons there. For this one, actually, you have to copy to the Reallusion application folder. I'll show you where that is, just so you can have a good idea. I don't want to spend too much time on the preparation stuff here. In your program files, you find Reallusion, PR, and then Character Creator 4. Say it's the same files for iClone 8 and Character Creator 4. Okay, it's a Python plugin, so just click on here and basically just copy all this stuff. Oh, so you have to go to bin 64 as well, and then open plugin. And here's your Blender tools right here. And it'll have these files right here. See your Python file right there. And once you copy it into this folder, it'll automatically appear when you load up iClone. Okay, cool. Hopefully, and again, if you want more detailed step-by-step process of that, check out the Victor Soup Days tutorial, and we'll be launching some of our own this week, I believe. So, all right. Cool. What I want to do first is I want to do a little bit of kind of advertising for ActorCore here, because ActorCore is a really cool store that we have that has all kinds of things, actors, motions, props, as you can see here on the top. And there's AccuRig, which we will use a little bit later. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is check my inventory. Of course, you can just, search stuff. You go like motion, for example. You can just search your motions up here. There's items, there's packs that you can go to. You can kind of browse this on your own time. I don't want to spend too much time just going through this, but yeah, you can pretty much find all kinds of stuff here. You can see there's tons of different categories and items on the side here. There's props as well now we have offered on ActorCore. The cool thing about ActorCore is you can buy stuff individually, and it's all this stuff is all created by Reallusion, so it's all like top quality. You're not going to have any errors with any of the stuff that you purchase from ActorCore. And we do have some new stuff that we are going to be launching really soon, which are motion linked accessories. If some of you were in the last webinar, we talked about the new improvements with iClone 8. The latest version of iClone, where you can have animations that you can apply the animation and it'll actually load up accessories onto your character that come with the animation and part of a Motion Plus file, which is really cool. And if you want to learn more about that later, you can just definitely ask me in the Q&A. But yeah, okay, so say for example, I've searched some motions. I'm like, yeah, I found some motions that I like, which I did. I don't have to go through the whole process with you guys, I don't think. I'm going to go to my inventory over here. And this is my personal account, by the way. You can see here we have a couple of things. I thought since, it's basically Halloween, I'd do like a little vampire guy here. You can see the actor right there. And I can find all the motions that I've downloaded as well. I have this spooky talk motion. So if you want to preview a motion, just click on it. And you can see here, this is the spooky motion. It's kind of a weird, kind of creepy, whatever motion. And you can go over to actor and you can load in your actor. Vampire. So like I said, I wanted to have this vampire. Let's put this window over there. So then it'll load up my character with that motion. And when you're previewing before you purchase, you can download trial stuff. You can just see how any characters in your library work when they have this type of character here. And you can also, in AccuRig, you can go to AccuRig as well, and you can upload your characters from AccuRig, which I'll talk about doing a little bit of AccuRig later on, just very simple AccuRig stuff, and how to upload that to ActorCore as well. So you can see you can generate a rig on your character with AccuRig, and you can preview how it looks with all the motions just in the window like this, which is really, really cool. Alrighty. And if you haven't downloaded AccuRig, you can just get it up here as well. Okay, cool. So let's say I found this motion, I found this character, and I want to kind of just do some editing on this in either Blender, Character Creator, iClone, whatever, yada yada. I can download to any sort of different formats. All right. So in ActorCore, what I can do is I can go over here to download. And for this example here, I'm just going to be doing some motion editing in iClone 8 before we transfer it over to Blender using a data link. But as you can see here, if you don't want to use iClone, you can just directly download it to any of these formats. All the auto setup stuff is already taken care of. So if you do Blender, you can just bring it right into Blender and it'll work right away. You don't have to do any material editing or anything like that. Same with all of these. So there's a target tool preset, target application. Here you just choose. In this case, I'm just going to choose iClone. And we already have iClone open right here. So make sure you have iClone or Character Creator open, whichever one you want to bring it into. I'm going to bring it into iClone first and do some motion editing. So once you do that, just go here and click download. And once you do that, it'll download your actor. And you'll be able to see it when iClone decides to start working. There you go. It says, ready to download your purchased items. Would you like to install now? Just go ahead and click OK. And then it'll pop up basically here in your recent downloads. You can see here we have the Toon Vampire and the Spooky Talk. How convenient, right? So they're just an iAvatar and an RL motion. So let's go ahead and bring our actor in there, right? And that's really, to be honest, all I want to do in ActorCore. I just wanted to show you the functionality. There's a set of motions that I downloaded, and that's going to be in a Blender format. I'll quickly show you that as well here. I've already downloaded it, obviously, but in the inventory, we are in the inventory, right? Let's go over to motion. And I have this kid scared to flee, scared flee to hide motion. So this is kind of cool. You click on camera to follow camera. It's kind of funny because this actually, I think it's hilarious. It actually consists of 3 separate motion. When you download it, there's the stop motion, like this, and then there's the turnaround motion, or there's the running motion, and then there's the hiding motion. So when it downloads, and I'll show you that in just a moment, it downloads as 3 separate motion files that are connected together, which is pretty cool. I don't think we need Chrome open right now, so I'm going to close it just to save a bit of resources. And in iClone, what do we have here? Oops, let's make sure that we have okay, so this is I'm just gonna get rid of this guy because we have I have it as part of a pack. There's a little DRM issue between my own account and the Reallusion account that I sometimes use, because I'm in a different country and it's all fiddly faddly foo. Oh, and still not okay. Let me just all right, I'm going to try and start iClone again here. Let me make sure I'm just, this literally worked 2 seconds ago. I'm not sure if Zoom is just messing with me or something, but yeah. Anyways, that watermark is what appears when you just download trial content. You don't, and I think it may have been just because I re-downloaded from a different account in using ActorCore there just a moment ago. So let's hope this next one doesn't have this, that'll be annoying to keep on. There's a part where there's an issue where I have to continually keep on activating the content. Let me just make sure that it's not going to be a problem, because it wasn't a problem half an hour ago, but you know how things go. All right. Okay, we'll work with it anyways. I'm just going to have a watermark on the screen for just a moment here. But let's go ahead and apply that animation that we downloaded. And do some downloads. We can go to items here because that was in items. There's my spooky talk right there. Okay, cool. So this is our animation applied to our character. He's just like, rah. And he just does a little kind of a thing there. Slicing his finger across his neck there. But you can notice that there's no actual facial animation for this particular one. So I'm just going to do a really quick cheat here. I'm going to go over to animation, and I'm going to use in Digital Soul here. There's a Digital Soul content pack, which is really good. I recommend checking it out, where you can just type soul or whatever. And there's a motion in here, or a facial expression in here that's kind of like a roar. angry roar. There you go. Can apply that to the character. And then if we open into our timeline, we have the expression right here, and it'll be like he'll crouch down, and there's his roar right there. He's like, I'm gonna kill you. All right. So we can do that. And then what I can do on top of that is just maybe give him a weapon or something. And again, I'm just doing this as part of some iClone editing. I wanted to show you guys a few features. So I'm just going to search for a knife because, you know, it looks, if he has a knife, it looks a lot cooler when he does that. Let's make sure we're in props, not in animations. And there's a knife here. This is a knife. Oops. There we go. And we can bring the knife over here anywhere. Just put it anywhere in the scene. I'll scale it up using the R hotkey there. Make sure it's big enough for us to see. And one cool thing you can do is kind of a quick shortcut is you can actually take your knife or whatever it is, and you can focus in on the character's hand. And if you just go over here and you click on it, if you click attach, where are we? There we go, pick parent. And you pick the hand over here, for example, and then you zero out, reset zero out, it'll actually go right to where the hand is. If I press W now, you can see it's right there. It always attaches at the wrist. So instead of going back and forth to try and get the angle right in all the different directions, you can just do this, and generally that puts it in a good place where it's at least a little bit easier to place. And you can see here we can just throw it in there. His hand. And so it just makes attaching things, accessories, a little bit easier when you do it that way. All right, make it a little bit larger there. Cool. That'll work fine. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fix his arm a little bit using the edit motion layer tool. I hate these bones when they pop up, so I always get rid of them. And let's just clench his fist. Where are we here? Oh, there we go. All right, that should be good enough. And bring it out a little bit so we can actually see it. There we go. All right, now he looks a lot more threatening with an actual knife in his hand. Okay, we can just refine the position of that knife. Oops. Make sure we do that. All right, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's not the point of this webinar. Okay, so then we have this, and oh wow, that's fun. The knife decided to go all wacky on me. Man, this is just the gong show here. Okay, let's make sure that we are. Did I must have changed that a different. Oh, you know what? Maybe I changed that a different frame. Anyways, I'm going to do this as quick as possible. Make sure that we don't have any sort of random keyframes. Oh, that's probably what it did right there. All right. So just make sure that you don't add another transform keyframe. Otherwise, your prop and your accessory in your hand will go all over the place. Don't make the same mistake I did, fellow animators. All right, I'm spending way too much time on this stupid knife, so let's make sure that we can see it, and then we're good. All right. All right, so now he will go and it'll stay in his hand as he does the throat slicing thing. And we probably want to adjust the position a little bit to avoid him actually slicing through his hand there. And to do that, we will go into the keyframe editor, or edit motion layer tool rather. I'm just going to set a full body key, and we're going to go over here. I'm going to change the position of the hand slightly. Not sure why his one finger is sticking out there, but there's a weird. Is it the thumb? Oh, it's the thumb. That's why. All the fun things. All right, we'll just work with that. You know what? It ain't gonna be pretty, but there you go. So now he's actually not actually slicing through his neck. He's kind of going a little bit further out, and then we can set up another key here, another full body key, and then when he's like getting out here, we can just um, go ahead and reset, and it'll take it back to the regular position there. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to reset it. I'm going to keep it because I don't want to do the hand stuff anymore. All right, good. So that's our motion. That's our facial expression and our motion and everything like that. So, okay, cool. We did a little bit of editing in iClone. What if we want to kind of transfer this over to Blender for whatever reason? You know, we don't render it in Blender or do whatever like that. The best way to do it is let's just go ahead and activate the purchased items again there. Get rid of our watermark. Okay, so I showed you a little bit briefly how to kind of make sure you install the Blender pipeline tools, which are found up here in plugins, and go to Blender pipeline, and there's data link. So data link has a bunch of new features, and I'm just going to dock it over here. There's all kinds of options in data link now, which are really cool. I'm going to go ahead and let's go into Blender. And I've got Blender 4.2 downloaded here, so that's the latest version. Delete the old cube there. All right, so you'll see an item here called link, CC link. All right, and there's an option to connect. It's pretty easy. Make sure you start server over here in iClone, and then you go over here and connect. Okay, easy as that. Once you basically, if you get an error there, make sure that you have the same versions, or kind of just mess around with the versions maybe a little bit. But yeah, as long as the versions are okay, you should have all this stuff all taken care of here. All right. The coolest thing is these new motion sets, which I'll show you in just a moment here. So we want to bring this animation over here into Blender. Let's go over here where it stops, maybe frame 320 or so. And I'm just going to bring my project link slider down here. So to bring this into Blender, it'll bring the accessory, the knife in there as well. Okay. You just go ahead and click Send Avatar. Now, sometimes there's an option here to send morph, and we'll talk about that after this animation scenario here. This character, you can't actually send the morphs, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. So for now, I'm just going to send avatar, okay? And if I send avatar, it's basically just going to export my avatar to Blender, okay? Shaders and everything all taken care of, the animation already preset. You can see right here, let's zoom in here. Oops. My Unreal controls and my Blender controls are different. So, all right, so there you go. Cool. And if you want, you know, there's always the option in the pipeline tools to go into scene tools, and you can change your lighting, like this CC3 lighting. Now it looks a bit more nefarious, a bit more insidious, his shaders, so it looks a little bit cooler. All right, and you can just go ahead and boom. All right, there's our motion. All in Blender, shaders all taken care of. Maybe it's a bit too dark. That looks a bit better. Okay, but there you go. All right, that's in Blender. It's all cool. All the facial animations, everything taken care of. That in itself to me is just like such a huge time saver. It works really well, works flawlessly all the time. Okay, and what you can do then is now with a new latest version of the Blender data link rather, you have the option down here. There's a bunch of motion sets. So right now we just have this one motion, which is the Toon Vampire motion that we're currently using. If I want, what I can do is I can go into iClone. Let's just save this motion because I'll show you how to save with an accessory. So just go to custom here, animation, and let's just save this to folder, a motion plus folder. Let's create a new one here. Blender demo. Okay. Now, what you can do here is you can click on, if you click on save and you save it as an animation, it'll go essentially the length of your project. Okay. So this is 300 frames. Just be aware of that. And if you want to save it with the knife, make sure you save it as a motion plus. Okay. So asset type needs to be motion plus. If you save it as just a motion, the accessory won't be included. The facial animation will also not be included. So just be aware of that. So let's call this Blender test. Okay. And make sure that you have all the stuff here. Very, very important to have the accessory. Okay, visible material doesn't need to be selected here, I don't think. And if there's more than one accessory, which we have more details on that in the accessory tutorials, smart accessories they're called. Check out those tutorials in the Learning Center. You can add as many accessories as you want, and it'll, when you apply the motion to a character, it'll ask you like, which accessory do you want to add? Or where do you want to place it? On the neck, the arms, yada yada. Really well, works excellent. Probably one of my favorite features in the newest update here. So here you go. We have the motion. What was I doing? I wanted to save the motion, and then what you can do is, let's say there's another motion here like this. This is some motions I did for the last webinar, and here you'll be able to see a motion in action like this cheer 03. Okay, so now it loads an accessory here. That one came with an accessory. You can see here, it's supposed to be in the left hand. If I undo that, let's see if I right click it. You see here, if I right click and drag, it has the option to put the banner. Okay, if there's different meshes, in this case, it's only one banner. But you can see here, and there's different materials you can load in as well. Okay, I just click OK. All right, I'm not sure why it loads into the right hand there, but this is what it'll normally look like. Okay, you can see the physics results on the banner as well. Now, say, for example, I just wanted to only load this stuff here into Blender. I can go ahead and click on Send Motion, okay, or Send Pose, right? So if I send the motion, it'll send basically the entire motion for the length of the project. Let's get rid of that stuff, weird stuff at the beginning there. It should be like this. Maybe something like that. And if we click on Send Motion, we can send live sequence as well. But if you send motion, it'll send it to that the little motion thing here. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I need to activate first. See? Not sure why every time I do something, it has to show that. But okay, so send motion. And then that motion will now load onto the character. You can see here. And it's in our motion set. So we have this motion here. Now we can play back this motion. Okay, it doesn't load in that accessory, okay, because I didn't want it to, but we have this motion with our knife there. I think it's because we already have a knife in the left hand that the banner didn't initially go to the right hand there. But there you go, okay? And if you want to load the previous one, we can click on it and select load. Oh, this is that one, okay. There you go, okay. So we can load the different one, right? You can rename your motion set if you want, just for clarity's sake. But the really cool thing is that you can just load as many motion sets as you want in here, and you can, test them all, you can edit them all. It's just really cool. And then if we select our character, then we have the option to, of course, rigify, right? Now, in the description, I'm like, I'll make a big deal about, how to set up rigify. Well, basically, you just click rigify, and then your character is rigified. All right. So once we click that, it'll take a couple seconds here, and it'll give us our rigify rig. And then we can do all the editing we want. Of course, go into pose mode, or maybe we can just go into animation here. Something like this. And let's see where should we edit? I don't know. Maybe we don't want his arms so close to his face. So, let's take his neck. Neck's an easy one to do. So, I'm not going to go into all the dope sheet and everything like that. I'm just going to do a quick edit here. Maybe, actually, you know what? Let's do this. And as he is making that shouting, oops. Let's go ahead and rotate this one here. Again, the Rigify control is a bit more complex than what you find in your standard iClone fare. All right, maybe that'll do something like that. All right, let's just oh, that's the spine. All right, whatever. Let's just delete a bunch of keyframes here, and then we can Whoops. Oh, it's like the same thing again. Dang it. I'm not good at animating in Blender, as you can see here. We'll just do that. All right. As he is doing this, we will rotate rotate a little bit further down and insert a keyframe. I press I to insert keyframes, by the way. Most of you Blender people will probably know this. And then there. All right. We made our edit. I didn't say it was going to be good. That was it. There we go. Just a little bit of a. And of course, you can interpolate and blend the keyframes and all that fun stuff. But that's how you do the editing with Rigify. That's a very simple, stupid look at the animation. And then if you want to, send that back to iClone via data link, you can just go here and with the rig selected, go ahead and click on sequence. Okay, so this will send the animation on the character to iClone 8 as a live sequence. Okay, so again, we just did this one stupid little edit. Okay, you can do stuff with the mouth as well, of course, if you want. But yeah, that's how you send it back and forth. If I click on sequence, what is this, frame 50 or something, we did the edit. And we're back in iClone. Let's just get rid of the stupid banner. Take a look at banner. And of course, we probably have to activate that again, but whatever. And then again, sequence, or you can just do the pose just by itself. All right. So send the sequence. Okay, so there it is. It's all updated. And just ignore the random stuff going around there. That's part of the banner, I guess. I shouldn't have added that banner motion. Anyways, but you can see, I think it was around frame 50 is where we did the edit. The very brief, like that little brief kind of up and down there. I know it doesn't look good, but that's what it is, right? So that's how easy it is to send things back and forth. Whether you prefer to do your editing in Blender, whether you prefer to do your motion editing in iClone, that's really the pipeline. And you can send live motions. You can send the motion, like I said, you can send just a single pose. So if I want to create a single pose for my character, let's find just a simple pose. Not in the custom stuff. Their animation, let's give him like a fabulous looking sexy pose. There you go. Like a model. He still has that look on his face. Yeah, so again, you normally don't have to do this activate purchase items thing, but send pose. Yeah, send pose. There you can see it'll send that into Blender. And it's just a pose, only a pose. All right, so timeline, nothing doing. We can just go back into our layout here just to get better lighting. Of course, you can do the editing in. So again, this is just the pose. We can go back to this one. Oh, you have to click on the actual load. Can't just double click it. You have to click on load, by the way. Don't make the same mistake that I did. All right, and then if you want to, not edit mode, pose mode. There you go. Did I? All right. Well, anyways, I want to edit my pose, but I think maybe there's something in the way there. Anyways, I'm not very good at Blender, as you can tell, but that's how you can go back and forth. And it's really cool. Like, honestly, if you are really skilled with Blender, it's a flawless workflow. It works so fast. You can see the materials are all loaded in. The poses just go back and forth. For simplicity's sake, I tend to like to do my animation in iClones because I'm what I'm used to. But yeah, if you're a Blender animator, epic workflow there. Really allows you a lot of freedom to get things done. But we need to go Rigify, that's why. Yeah, anyways, so that's the entire Blender workflow. Now what I'm going to do for the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to actually take a character in AccuRig and show you how to We're going to animate that character. We're going to put the two characters together in Unreal Engine using LiveLink, and then I'm going to show you CC control rig in Unreal. Okay, so we're done with Blender for now. Again, if you want me to bring it up later, I can always bring it back into the mix here. Let's just start a new project here, and I'm going to open it up. AccuRig. ActorCore AccuRig. And of course, you can download this from the website, from the ActorCore website. It's very easy to process. I'm going to go through really quickly. I'm going to choose a character. I downloaded this Toyman character, which is one of the characters we used for our commercialization. Very simple character to rig up. Click on rig body, of course. And it's going to give us some markers that we have to place our bones. All right. And all you got to do is just use the reference image on the top there. So place this one by the mouth. I'm going to put symmetry on since our character's fairly symmetrical. These ones kind of go on the outside of the neck there. These ones go over the shoulders. These ones kind of just go on the elbows. These ones go with the wrist. Okay, pretty simple stuff. And if you have questions about this, I can always answer those later. But again, it's fairly straightforward. This whole process, AccuRig. And this is a very simple character. So place these kind of at the toes there, right where the toes start. And then these ones kind of go at the ankles here. All right, and you're pretty much good to go. You can press F always to like realign your character to the front facing pose here. Okay, and then rig right hand. Hopefully it works. I had mixed results. Sometimes it places the markers in weird places. Sometimes it works like perfectly. There's really no rhyme or reason to it, but you can see down there, there's also an October freebie, Dancing Man, just kind of disappeared, but you can, AccuRig has a bunch of advertisements in there. Check out the freebies of the month. Every month there's a new freebie. Okay, looks pretty good to me. Really the only thing you have to worry about with the fingers is the thumb is the most important. So place this one right here. There's your thumb nub. This one kind of goes at the intersection there. And then with the fingers as well, you have to make sure that this yellow marker thing is, I know he doesn't have any fingernails, but it has to be kind of perpendicular to the angle of the thumbnail, which I think is about here. You can see the diagram right there, or the reference image. Okay, that's all really well and good. Don't need to waste too much more time on that. We want to do more Unreal stuff. So, shabam. This one and this one. All right. Of course, one thing I skipped over is you have to choose how many fingers your character has. So if they don't have, if they have like 4 fingers, like the Simpsons characters or something, you got to choose 4 fingers when it prompts you. Okay, we'll just finalize the character. Now, I know some of you are going to ask, but I'm not going to be bothering with facial animation for this character. That's a whole nother can of worms, really, that we can do a whole nother webinar on. And I can refer you to some tutorials in the Q&A if you have any questions about that. But you can create your own facial rig in Character Creator. There's a good tutorial that shows how to do that. Generally, the workflow that I recommend using for people who are trying to create their own characters, we have a totally royalty-free character that you can find, and I'm going to show you where to find this actually because it's important. In the under Character Creator, I believe, overview, pipeline, free resources. Okay, you'll find the CC character base right here, animatable and free to own. Basically, you can just download these free character bases. Like I said, they're totally royalty free. A great way to start. It allows you to work freely within the Character Creator ecosystem. They all come with their own blend shapes. You can see they have 150 plus facial morphs here. Okay, so they come loaded with the facial blend shapes already. So what you can do is you can take these base characters and you can use them as your base, and you can take them into Blender, which I should probably try to do actually before we go into Unreal, using data link. And you can do all your sculpting there in Blender. You can also do it in ZBrush. We have the ZBrush tools as well. So highly recommend taking advantage of these. They're totally free models. They're high quality models. Reallusion offers them completely free. So make sure you check them out. I'll throw this link in the chat for you guys as well, because it's very important. 79 new messages. Holy smokeroonies. There you go. All right. Cool. Oh, and there's just in time our character pops up here. So there he is, all rigged up. You can test out some hand motions. It's like, whoa, my hands are so big, dude. It's like he just took some LSD and he's like fascinated by his hands or something like that. You can see the fingers bend. That's all we want to do. All right. And everything works just fine. Now there's two options here. You can upload to ActorCore, okay? And you can export to whatever program you want. All right. So if we upload to ActorCore, that'll load up our ActorCore. So I can view him on ActorCore right here. And he'll be added to my account. Just make sure you're logged into the same account, obviously. And he'll appear under actor and personal actors. All right. There he is. You can see I've uploaded him once before. But there he is. And then we can, test out any of these motions on our dude. Say, for example, we want to see how this loved big heart motion looks on him. Never seen that one before. All right, cool. So I think it looks pretty good. All right. And of course, we can add that to our cart and download it, yada, yada. Download it together with motions to whatever software we want. Okay, but let's go ahead and export this to iClone first. Okay, just send avatar to iClone. You can do the standard FBX, USD. I'm just going to save it to iAvatar. Let's just save it to our desktop as heart dude. All right, iAvatar and save. Okay, cool. Then you can bring it into iClone here. And I wanted to remember I downloaded those 3 separate motions. I told you I downloaded them. I didn't really download them. But let's find there's our heart dude right there. We can just bring him into iClone. Oops. Bang, bang, boom. There we go. All right. This guy won't have any watermark because he's mine. Ha. All right. So there he is, all ready to go. And then we can, I have a couple motions here that I prepared earlier. And these are motions. Remember those scared motions I showed you? I thought they looked pretty funny on this guy. So when you download them, by the way, you can download them to your own target tool preset as well. In this case, I downloaded them to Blender. Oh, no, that's the plugin, sorry. But where did I download? ActorCore Blender, this one here. Okay, you can see I downloaded the actor and I downloaded the motions. Kids scared, flee to hide. All right, so this, again, these are just FBX files that I downloaded from ActorCore. You can download them as iMotions as well. But here's the kid scared one. Come on. Okay. It'll ask you if you're importing an FBX directly to your character, if you have a motion profile. Since it's a custom character, I'm just going to choose current character and keep root motion, yada, yada. Stuff is all pretty standard. Okay. And then your character, he's going to be like, whoa, like that. His neck could use some adjusting probably. I'm not sure why it did that this time, but shoot, there we go. There we go. And okay, so this is the motion, what it looks like. He stops mid run. Okay, so then let's bring our next one in. Kid scared, flee too. All right. Bing bong, same thing. Keep motion, yada yada. Convert all. All right. And this one here, you can probably not sure why his neck needs adjustment this time, but shouldn't generally need adjustment. But as long as you do it at the first frame of your animation, you can always go to there you go, just make it flat motion clip. And this will just make sure that your key edit at the beginning is baked in. Okay, cool. So we have this, if you recall, we had the vampire earlier. And You can just blend these two together like this. So he's like, ah, and he starts running like a scared little girl. But say for example, we bring our vampire character in once again, and we have him scaring. Obviously, generally you don't run the direction of something that's scaring you. So what you can do is you can right click on the actual clip there and just go over here to motion direction control. All right. And this will allow us to change the direction of that run. So let's change it to this direction. Okay. So now he's going to go, what? And then he's going to start running right away like this. All right. So he'll just be like, ah, okay. It works pretty smoothly. Sometimes you have to tweak it a little bit with the different positions, and you can align to the previous clip. Sometimes that works a little better. In this case, it's pretty much the same. Okay. So he's like, whoa, run. All right. I love the way that guy runs. He's so perfect for that animation. All right. So let's bring in our vampire character, and then we'll send this duo to Unreal. And again, he's probably going to pop in with a stupid watermark, but vampire. All right. Here we go. And let's rotate him. And let's apply that custom animation we had earlier. I think this was the one, right? Hopefully. Okay, there you go. So again, just the matter of getting the timing right. So it looks like he starts running before the vampire scares him. So let's take that back a little bit. And if we're happy with these, we can also always merge the clips. Okay, if we don't want to do any more editing, we can just merge the clips into one. All right, there we go. And we can just move him a little bit forward. So he's just standing there, and then, all right, that timing's a little bit better. All right, maybe the spacing can be a little bit further back. All right, we're going to work with this. Ah, all right, cool. All right, so, oh man, I want to show you guys in Blender. You know what? In Blender, I'll show you the morphs after I do this quick editing in Unreal first. So let's get these guys into Unreal. Let's just activate again. All right, and there you go. All right, very Halloween themed anyways. Okay, so Unreal Live Link. It's one of our older tools, not really old, but it's an awesome tool here. For Unreal Live Link, let's just make sure we load up a project first. Probably should have done this a bit earlier. But I do have a project prepared. I think I might actually have it saved so I can show you the final results with the CC control rig before we actually do it manually here. We got about 5 minutes to do it. It's not going to take long. Again, I'm not going to do any real motion editing, but of course you can use the CC control rig as well. And in terms of getting the CC control rig installed and all set up and everything, you need auto setup. You don't need Unreal Live Link to use the CC control rig, okay? But you do need, might be this one here. I can show you a quick example of, oh, nope, that's not a level. Oh, the level here. Okay, there we go. They look very romantic there. They're all prepared to get it on. I think I see that as a sequence actually. So when you actually export, one of the cool things about Unreal Live Link is it'll automatically bake your sequences. Let's see the timing on this one. 10:46. Let's see, it was this one. I'm just going to show you guys the final result before we nope, not that one. One before that. This should be the one that has both of the characters included. All right, this is what it'll look like here? Okay. Now, this is what, the final result's going to end up looking like this. Now to get your characters into Unreal, let's just go ahead and start a new level just to keep things fresh here. Uh, let's go ahead and connect Unreal Live Link. First in iClone, link, activate link, and then in Unreal, iClone Live Link. There we go. All right. Cool. Now to bring our characters of the animation all together in. It doesn't take too long these days. I mean, Unreal Live Link used to take a long ass time to do things, but luckily it's been vastly improved and very efficient now for your workflow. Let's just go ahead and transfer. So here you can transfer scene or motion. I'm going to do scene because we want to bring our characters in. Let's just do it. Bring them in. Include motion. Okay. Range. What's the total range that we want to bring it in? Maybe again, 300, maybe 400 frames is fine. All right. And bake all animations to sequencer. This is probably the coolest thing, to be honest. You can just bake everything to your sequencer like that. Click on that one button. We don't need any props, cameras, lights. And we can just click on transfer files. And this will bring our stuff into Unreal. The characters in there. Oh, there's something else going on there. No. Hopefully we can just transfer it over. You son of again. Oh yeah, that's just what we need. Let me see if there's what's going on in Unreal here. I don't think we have any issues here. Let's just create a point light here. And hopefully we can be able to transfer those guys over. Make sure we're linked up in Unreal again. Okay, this is the way you're supposed to do it anyways. Unreal is giving me a little issue here. Complete the prior transfer. Oh, you know what? Maybe because the characters have the same names as ones that are already in the scene. Let's try doing something else here. Vamp temp, of course. And dude temp. All right. And let's try that, see if that works. I think that's probably why. Nope. No, Billy. Okay. Well, anyways, that's generally how it transfers over. And this, I think this project is that it already has kind of a conflict with the naming or something's going on there. It's really weird. But again, you can also export this to auto setup as well. If you want, you can just go ahead and file export. Okay. And export to FBX. Unreal target tool preset, range, choose the range. Now, if you're using auto setup, you don't want to embed textures, okay? You can delete unused morphs, it doesn't matter. Use subdivided meshes. So you can import this guy in manually as well. Let's just do that. Dude, oops. Dude temp. All right, and we included the 300 whatever frames. We can use subdivided mesh as well as if we want. Okay, and then let's do the same thing for the vamp before we activate the purchase licenses again. So this is how you would do it manually, by the way, without live link. So live link costs money. This is actually the free way, so it's a little bit better. Uh, Vamp temp. Okay. And then we can go into Unreal and we can load in our dudes. Let's just create a new folder here. Temp cares. And bring a vamp temp in. Oops. High quality shaders fine. It doesn't really matter in this case, but if you're doing it this way with the auto setup, make sure that you have exported time selected down here, import animations, okay? And you want to choose a skeleton. If you have one already set up, you can choose a skeleton here. If not, it'll just kind of create one for you. Okay, and import all. And that's how you do it with auto setup. And this will take, obviously, a little bit more time. Unreal Live Link actually goes a lot faster than this. And while we're doing this, I can probably sneak over to Blender and show you the morph, import morph stuff before we end up today here. I know I'm a bit over time. And if you want, there's tutorials on getting started with Unreal Live Link. Sorry, not Unreal Live Link, the CC control rig. So those can be found over here. I believe it's iClone and pipelines and Unreal. Yeah, so here's one on control rig. Okay, so this is where you find the I did 2 tutorials on control rig. Actually, there's a third one that talks about different types of characters. So again, these ones aren't really easy to understand if you're not an Unreal person. But man, it's really annoying to always hear your voice. Okay, I'll copy this one anyways for the chat, you guys, and throw it in there. Okay, cool. And I probably shouldn't have done this because auto setup, and I imported all those facial morphs there as well. So this will take a bit. Yeah, let's open up Blender then, because this is gonna be a sec. To show a good example in Blender. Oh crap, should I? Who cares? To show an example in Blender, or rather, we're going to use character creator for this one since we are working with the morphs now. Okay. Generally, if you're doing like character editing, like morphs and stuff, you want to use character creator instead. And then we'll open up Blender. Let's see how my computer handles character creator, Blender, and Unreal all at the same time while loading in a character with shaders. Okay, so Blender, again, the data link here, and character creator, when it loads up, will also have a data link. I can close down Chrome. It's only going to make things worse. I believe I loaded up character creator. All right. So now you remember before when I mentioned we have those free resource characters. Generally, you can start from those. That's totally fine. I'm going to just for convenience sake here, I'm just going to use a base character in character creator here in CC3. I like to use these mannequin characters to start off with. Okay, so for example, this mannequin male. These are CC3 plus characters. Now, again, be aware, I mentioned this earlier, we can't do this with the vampire character because he's what's called an actor build character or a game ready character. So he's not able to take advantage of that. But these characters are. If you're a CC3 plus character, the data link is fully compatible with these. So if you see the little CC3 plus in the bottom right there, then you're good to go. So again, plugins, Blender pipeline. We also have it for character creator. Okay, we'll bring it over here. And what we can do is start our server. Over in Blender, let's connect. Okay, easy enough. And then you can see we have send morph. Okay, cool. So if we want to do any sculpting in Blender, all we got to do is click our character and click send morph. Now, be aware of this. You want to start with a very neutral character, and I'll show you why in just a moment. This character is fairly neutral, but again, if you want to see what kind of sliders your character is using, you can go to modify and the morphs up here and go to currently used. Okay, you can see he's not really using any. Okay, none of them have any values. So you want to keep your character as neutral as possible, okay, to start off with. Let's go ahead and send the morph. Okay, how's oh, there we go. Unreal is doing all right. There's our vamp temp. Should we bring in the other guy? Anyways, skipping back to Unreal here for a second while we wait for the Blender thing to load, which actually doesn't take very long. It's already loaded up here. It'll load in like a second here if you're just doing morphs, and it'll always come in A pose just so you're aware, just to make the sculpting easier. Okay, so then when you're in Blender here, you can just go to sculpt mode. And I don't know, let's do some really bad sculpting with Kai. I'm like the idiot. I'm like Bob Ross if he was special, we'll just say. Anyways, we'll go to make his shoulders big, for example. Okay, we'll make his shoulders a bit bulgier. That one's not really as noticeable. So let's go to his face. Oop, crap. I love switching between controls and different programs. Just makes me so happy. Okay. Let's do some grabbing instead. Again, make sure not to change your topology for your characters, okay? You don't want to change the actual mesh, the vertice count. Otherwise, character creator won't notice it. Make that a little bit bigger. Maybe give him like some more angular features. All right, maybe we can make him like, oh crap, look what I did. We can make him like handsome Squidward or something from SpongeBob SquarePants. Let's do whatever. Or a cone head. That's an older reference. Some people may not know the movie Coneheads. Anyways, you can see I'm just doing a bunch of nonsense. But anyways, when you're done, you can go ahead and click Go CC. But before you do that, you generally want to make sure that your character is a neutral character. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you need to swap your character out if it's basic like this, but I always just tend to use a base character. Like, where are they again? The base. Yeah, neutral male is probably a good one to choose. Okay, so you want to replace the character that you have on the screen, because what it's going to do is it's going to actually take the morphs, the blend shapes from your current character, which is this mannequin dude, and it's going to add those, going to stack those on top of the edits that you did in Blender. Okay, and then when you transfer it back, you want to have a very as neutral of a character as possible, just so you can create an accurate slider. And I'll show you what I mean in just a sec here. So here we have this dude here, and if we go back into Blender, now we can just go ahead and click on Go CC. All right, so that's going to say, as you can see, morph sent on the bottom there. That sends our morph into character creator, and it pops up with a window like this. Now you can name your morph whatever you want. Stupid morph. Okay. If the morph is only for your head, you can choose only the head mesh. Okay, the eyes, teeth, eyelashes, nails. The body will encompass everything, so just be aware of that. It's going to load into a custom category under Blender. You can set the morph range. Source morph is the current morph. Okay, don't worry about that. Make sure your OBJ path, yada yada. And if you adjusted the proportions, the bones or anything like that, you can do that and auto apply. Just go ahead and click on Create Slider. Okay, so this is so easy. It just creates a slider for us, and we can apply that to any character. You can see it's stupid. Gosh, that looks dumb. So there's our morph, all right? Our custom morph. And if we want to find out, if we want to find it, we can go over here, morphs under Blender. There's stupid morph, all right? There you go. I modified his eyes too, I guess. But anyways, you can see the shoulders got bigger. Okay, the little brief shoulder thing I made there, and the lopsided chin, and one of the worst morphs ever possibly done by a human is right there before your eyes. Okay, but that's the workflow anyways. I'm sure you guys can do a lot better job than that, but yeah, okay, that's character creator. Finally, the thing in Unreal that I want to get to, your character. So when you import in a skeletal mesh like this using auto setup, you want to make sure that you right click on your skeletal mesh, and down here you'll see create CC control rig. Okay, so you want to make a CC control rig for your skeletal mesh. Make sure that the control rig is installed. Okay, and there's that getting started tutorial I showed you earlier that talks all about how to install it. Make sure you go to create control rig. It'll give you a control rig right there. We can bring in our blueprint class right here. Okay, there's our dude. So it brings in a blueprint class, by the way, when you import your character like that. We're in Unreal now. And then we can go ahead and, what are we doing here? Creating a new level sequence. Yeah. ASDF. Okay, that works. Let's bring in our character. This is the CC rig BP. This is one we're going to bring in. Okay. There's our control rig right there. All right. You can modify anything like that. You can add, if we take our, let's get rid of the face stuff right now. Yeah, let's get rid of the face stuff right now. And let's add a body component on there. And then to the body component, we'll add an animation. And there's there's our vamp temp animation. Okay, I guess he goes the other way. Hoi-oh! Turn around, buddy. You probably could have placed him better, but there you go. So there it is. Okay. Oh man. And there it is all set up. You can see the facial animation comes in as well. All right. Now using this method, it doesn't bring the knife in because we just only had the character selected. All right. So just be aware of that. What are we doing here? Content browser. And then right click on our, a sec here. A message over here. And right click on body and bake to control rig. Nope, we need to have our animation first. It should allow me to make animation sequence. Okay, let's give that a shot. Whatever. Okay, now we should be able to our control rig should be working for the body here. We literally have the control rig right above it. Oh, goodness sake. Generally, you should be able to bake this to control rig. It should show up here. You see what am I doing wrong here? There's a whole bunch of steps to it here. Yeah, you can generally just right click on the body and you should be able to bake to control rig. I'm not sure why it's not showing up here. No, you don't want an FK control rig. You want the other control rig. What I'm doing wrong here. Anyways, in the getting started tutorial, it'll show you how to do it, and you can use the control rig there to modify your character. Um, if I go back into the sequencer, let's just go ahead and load up one of those other sequences I had. I think maybe it's a folder issue here or something. I'm not sure what's going on, but no, let's not save that. One of the other sequences I had. Um, And again, when you bake it with LiveLink, it'll bake to these this RL level sequence folder, which is fantastic. I really like that. All right, there we go. Oh, this one I already did some editing. You can see his neck kind of stretch out like this. The vampire's neck, anyways, as it runs away. Makes it look a little bit scarier, right? His neck stretches out like that. And this one you can with the body selected, we should be able to bake to. Oh man, what is happening here? I'm not sure if it's the live link that's messing this something up or whatever, but it's really annoying here. Here's our character. Anyways, so it already has the control rig set up. I'm just not sure where it is. But it should be popping up here. Oh, you know what? Gosh darn it. Take off filter asset by skeleton and then bake to control rig and then CC body rig. Good Lord. All right. I'm not sure if that was appearing before, if I just saw it, or if I'm just like a little too tired. Anyways, there's your control rig. Now we can go ahead and, modify things. Stretch out the neck, for example. That's your thing. As he goes like that, and brings his knife in there. We can get rid of some of those keyframes and take that head up as he slices across his neck. We have auto keyframing on, so all right. Anyways, that's how you bake in, or that's how you do the animation modifications in sequencer, and make it even stretchier. All right, that looks a little bit scarier. Now I can see why he's running away like a little girly man. All right, cool. Anyways, that's about all there is to it, guys. Sorry I went overtime here. I know. Yeah, a little bit of messing around, but thank you for sticking with me, and hopefully you learned a little bit about specifically more about the new data link, which I think is an amazing tool, really useful for Blender artists and their workflow, and the control rig stuff in Unreal Engine it's I think a couple months old now, but still very useful as well if you do any editing or anything in Unreal. Yeah, highly recommend both those workflows. But yeah, okay, cool. Let's get to the Q&A, guys. If you have any questions, put those questions in the Q&A panel right now, and we will get to those right away. All right. Looks like we have a bunch of them already set up or already prepared. All right, so first one from Noah. Hey, I'm working on a character for my game. I have a poncho and it's made of clothing. How to clear all the bone weights? Ponchos are pretty cool, but bone weights are not cool. I don't really like messing around with bone weights too much. But you have the option in Character Creator to adjust bone weights for your clothing. Oh man, there's a tutorial I did recently that talks about bone weights, because I don't want to get into it now. I'm not good at it, to be frank. But oh man, I'm trying to think what's the name of the tutorial that I used for bone weights. Oh, I think it was like a smart accessory one. I'm pretty sure. I think it might be one of the ones that's going to be launched this week. And it deals with Blender, again, using Blender data link there. So this new data link is still new to me as well. So I'm kind of like a little bit flailing sometimes when it comes to it. it's an amazing tool. I haven't had a chance to like use it as much as I want to, but amazing tool. But no, to answer your question, I don't really want to get into the bone weight thing at this point. You can search in the Learning Center for bone weight tutorials, or maybe even just search like, iClone, or sorry, character creator bone weights would probably pop up something like, I don't know. This is how I normally find stuff. Oh, facial rig. Did I talk about this one? No, this is the one I wanted to show you guys. So I know there's going to be people asking for the facial rig stuff. This is a tutorial actually done about a year ago by Steve Film here. And this one talks about taking a character without a facial rig in Character Creator and giving it a facial bone rig. And they talk about facial weights in this one. So I do want to put this in the chat because I think this is an excellent tutorial. And I learned a lot from this tutorial actually myself. So cool. Yeah. But no, I won't get into the details on weighting in this tutorial because it gets too much into the nitty gritty. But sorry for that. But a good question though. I was going to search for character creator bone weight. So painting skin weights on surfaces here, that'd probably give you something. Calibrating skin weights, binding skin weights. Okay, so the whole process through here. This one is a little bit old, looks like a year old or so. Binding skin weights for facial features. This one. Again, generally a quick Google will give you at least something that's useful. And this, again, I did this one like a year ago, so it's been a while. Next question from Akin Maya. Do you plan on publishing a flipbook texture maker for iClone 8 for popcorn effects, etc.? Not that I know of. That's a good feature. And if you guys have any suggestions for new iClone features that you want to get included in iClone, we tend to actually really listen to our customers in terms of wishful features. So make sure you let us know either in the feedback form or in our forums, any of our social media. We respond to all those different methods. So if you want a feature, let us know there. And the more upvoted it gets, or the more popular it gets, the higher chance we'll implement it. So another question from Akin as well. Do you plan on adding Z-axis export for FBX panel? So that's if you're going to a different software like Maya or something like that. FBX, shoot. I'm pretty sure there is an option to do that. I'm not sure where, but I know that you can adjust. I'm not sure if it's the FBX export. There's a way that you can adjust the axis though to match. Generally, Akin, if you just use one of the target tool presets or the target application, if you select the right one, it'll automatically do that for you. But I don't know if there's a specific button for it anymore. I think there used to be, but okay, another question from Akin here. Do you plan to integrate a plugin or anything for iClone 8 VFX export as an image sequence? I want to make a flipbook texture for a game engine like Unity. Yeah, we do image sequence export from iClone, Akin. I'll at least open up one of our software here so we can what the heck? Okay. Yeah, but we image export, we have that available in the render menu. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Anonymous asks, I've had a trouble with my PC freezing and crashing. I'm not sure what the issue is. Any recommendations for optimization and autosave period? Oh man, there's so many ways you can try to optimize your performance of your PC. You can go in and overclock it. You can do all kinds of stuff. Generally for me, like I'm only running a 3070 RTX on this computer that I'm using right now, and it generally works okay. I always make sure you have your local drive is an SSD drive so that can access the data faster. Generally a 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte SSD is fine for most of the software you need. And if it comes down to like a really high level project, or really a lot of like high resource project, you can always go up to your camera settings up here and go to quick mode or minimal. Okay. And this will make sure that like you're not really using too much shaders or processing power for shaders or lighting. Use one of these here, quick mode or minimal. You can even go up here, and this one's called auxiliary light, this button up here. And if you just click that, it'll just basically take out all the shaders, all the lighting in your scene, which saves a lot of resources. So if you're not in the rendering stage of your production, then use any of those just to get the animations and the placement of, the blocking of your scene correct. Those are my main go-tos anyways, and they generally work. Akina asks, can we import DForce DAZ 3D clothes to iClone 8 or CC4? Absolutely. Can bring DAZ clothes to your characters. We even actually have automatic detection of I forget which DAZ models. I know Victoria, Michael 8, a bunch of models that you can just kind of bring them in and it'll automatically retarget them for use with iClone animations. I haven't used DAZ for quite a while at this point, but yeah, we definitely have a pipeline with them. To answer your question, generally, I know this is kind of a cop-out, but if you guys have any questions about a certain pipeline, generally if you go to our main Reallusion page and you go to products, and you go to like, say for example, it has to do with character creation, you go to character creator, and in the character creator menu, if you go to overview, you'll find a whole bunch of stuff here about the features. And if you click on pipeline, you'll find all sorts of different, we have a dedicated page for all these separate pipelines. So people ask me like, oh, how do I, get my metahuman into character creator and vice versa? Well, here you go. Click on this link right here. It'll take you there. ZBrush as well. This is basically where you're going to find all your pipeline stuff. So today's webinar is all about pipelines, right? So this is where you want to focus your time on checking out these pages. They all have their own downloadable resources. They all have their own videos. So make sure you check these out. Question from Ed Weisner here. I need to hire someone to help me with a crowd shot for short films. Where can I find the talent? You are a freelancer, right? Need some help from hire. Yeah, occasionally I'll do freelance work myself. I'm on the busy end these days. But generally our social media is a great way to look for people. We also have a forum as well, forum.reallusion.com. Reallusion.com, not real.com. What the Sam hell? There you go. Forum.reallusion.com. You can often find people in the forums if you just advertise. And I think the place to do that would be in the showcase yourself page. It's pretty popular. People always showcasing their own stuff. You can find people, you can look at their resources or look at their portfolios and what they do. Yeah, I think that's generally a good place to do it. If that answers your question there, Ed. Thanks for that. Question from Rafid. Any plans to have CC and iClone available for Apple Silicon? No, we have no plans for Apple releases at this point, just because we're focusing on a lot of innovative new tools that we're trying to, get out there, and we don't have the resources to port stuff over to Apple right now. So we're just a small company. We're a medium-sized company now, actually. So yeah, we're doing all right. Renato asks, once an animation is sent back from Blender to iClone, can it be shared across any character? Can it be shared or downloaded by another user? Yes, it can. Yep, absolutely. I mean, you can export it as an FBX from Blender. That way there's no DRM or anything on it. Or send it back to iClone. Again, once you save it as an iAvatar, it's going to have DRM protection on it. Unless it's an original model, then it's not going to have DRM protection on it. So just be aware of that. The free characters I mentioned earlier, those ones don't have DRM protection on it, which makes them, you won't see that watermark pop up or anything like that. But yes, you can, to answer your question, Renato, simply. Okay, Alvin asks, while using LiveLink, I found the camera animation from iClone will not carry over to Unreal anymore. I haven't personally encountered that. As you can see, I didn't really do any camera work there, but if you encounter that, Alvin, I've had that happen before, and it's just been basically a version incompatibility. Generally, when you update all your plugins, it's going to work afterwards. I don't know, it does it just magic. But honestly, the only advice I can give you there is update your plugins, and if not, just go back to the previous version for temporarily until a fix is shown in on the website there. But yeah, it's always 99% of the time it's a version incompatibility. So all right, Gilhad asks, can ArtCore animations and characters be applied to the UE5 mannequin? Yeah, absolutely they can. So you can retarget iClone motions to your metahuman characters or UE5 mannequins. Absolutely. There's tutorials on how to do that. Nowadays it's a lot easier than it used to be. I used to have to retarget everything, and then you have to, like, select all the bones and retarget them all. But now with auto setup, it just does it automatically. So it's a really easy process. And Gilhan, I would suggest that you go to the Unreal Live or Unreal tutorials, auto setup tutorials in the Learning Center, and check that out. Anonymous attendee says, I'm using pretty much all of our products here, it looks like. What else do I need to complete a setup for a beginner? Anonymous has like a paragraph full of all the things he's using from us. What else do I need to complete a setup for a beginner? Honestly, it looks like you have everything you need. iClone 8 AccuFace, Cartoon Animator, Character Creator 4, Headshot plugin. The only thing you can even really think about is if you have motion capture like Rococo or something. You need a profile for that suit for the body capture, but aside from that, you should have pretty much everything you need. Yeah, that's quite the hefty arsenal for a beginner. Next question we'll go to is from Anuj. Could you host a webinar in Hindi for the Indian audience? I definitely could not. I know not a single word in Hindi, but yeah, I think that we definitely would like to reach out more to the Indian audience, and we'd have to get someone to help us out with that. We don't have any staff in India at the moment, but yeah, I think that's definitely a suggestion. Please put that in the feedback form, and we'll maybe do a co-host with India. It's on the other side of the world, though, so the hours are going to be crazy. All right, Nehemiah Jackson asks, can Character Creator 4 make cartoon characters, or will there be software for that purpose? Yeah, it absolutely can. We have toon character bases that actually come with Character Creator. So I have iClone open, but yeah, I showed the base characters before. There's some toon characters there as well. Recommend checking that out. That's under all the base character stuff. So maybe in iClone it's actor. I think it's in the same kind of folders as Character Creator is. Should be base. Oh yeah, there's our characters here. And they don't have all the same characters. Oh yeah, they do. See the toon neutral female here. Those are the royalty-free ones. Neutral male, neutral female. Again, those are the royalty-free ones. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of a place to start, Nehemiah. I think the toon characters here are really great. Pakim asks, I did some facial capture with MetaHuman. Is it possible to transfer MetaHuman facial animation to CC control rig? Yeah, I didn't really show any of the facial control rig. I only showed the body, but yeah, there's a way to get your MetaHuman facial animation to be modified by a CC control rig. Again, you do need to take it into Character Creator first to assign what's called a facial profile to it. And once you assign that facial profile, it kind of how do you say, harmonizes all the blend shapes in the facial library so that you can use it with Character Creator as well. There is tutorials on that. I'd recommend going specifically into the MetaHuman tutorials. Michael Hickman asks, is there a tutorial page or a longer video for editing the CC control rig? Yes, definitely, Michael. I know I kind of skipped over it a bit for time's sake here, but yeah, the getting started one I mentioned earlier. Again, the online tutorials, iClone, pipelines, Unreal. You'll find all the control rig stuff for Unreal here. And there's the CC head and full textures to MetaHuman. Okay, so you can take CC characters and send them to MetaHuman, and vice versa. Okay, so these are good. These are good tutorials to have, especially the new ones. Anything to do with Unreal. Well, there you go. Throw that in the chat for you. Thanks for the question, Michael. Anuj asks, is it possible to create realistic water or liquid simulations, like pouring milk into a glass within iClone? No, not right now. Particle effects, like, well, I mean, you could do stuff with popcorn effects, but not really specifically for water. We don't have the best engine for that, to be honest. I think Unreal just made a big improvement to their water realism. So they're really good for that. And Houdini obviously does fantastic physics water simulations. Um, yeah, those would be my two top choices. Blender actually has a lot of free plugins as well, or free and paid plugins that do water simulation really well. So again, it really depends on the tools, but I think Blender and Unreal themselves are great. Houdini is obviously a AAA level water simulation program. Not it doesn't only simulate water, it does a lot of other things, but yeah, they do it really well. So Fernando asks, what's better, using Rococo mocap suit in iClone or exporting the character to Unreal and using the mocap there? That's a good question, to be honest. Personally, I would probably, just because I'm more familiar with iClone, I would do my mocap in iClone and just export the character or the motion to Unreal, apply to my character there. Some people would prefer to use the Unreal control rig. You can see how my incompetent hands struggled to find even the right controls. But yeah, so for me, it's just the iClone environment. I just know it like the back of my hand. I'm not bad with Unreal either, but Blender is definitely a bit more of a challenge for me. I generally try to do as much as I can in iClone and then just do the final rendering results in other software. So that's my little cheat. But yeah, that again, to everyone, whatever you're more comfortable with would be my answer for that, Fernando. But good question though. Question from Christopher: are there any plans to have an official Discord server? Very good question. I've been looking for this for a while. I really think that we should have a Discord server. I'm not sure what our social media team thinks of that, but I've joined Discord servers for Rococo and other ones, for example, and I've found them very useful. Getting in touch with actual staff members and stuff. So I hope that we can, if you guys are interested in having a Discord server, love that you guys please put that in the feedback form. We'd love to, if there's enough demand for it, I'm sure we could probably wing it. Another question from Michael Hickman: is there a way to make the ActorCore motions masculine or feminine? A lot of my motions seem to be majority feminine style. Did I miss a checkbox? Good question. In ActorCore, when you're searching for motions, I think they are pretty much set up for male or female. Like if you go to motions here, in the filters, I'm sure there's somewhere like, yeah, alt type, you go to male or female here. So Michael, when you're searching for motions in ActorCore, you may want to just search for male, okay, in the filters, and that'll give you a bit more of this will only be male motions, okay? So that's probably the easiest way to do it. You can search for packs and items as well here, okay? Ivanov. I added this to live later. Can I find this link on YouTube? Yeah. So Ivan, we're gonna be sending this to you guys via email, the link to the YouTube video via email later. So, all right, anonymous attendee, what's the easiest way to make custom hair? Man, there's really no easy way to make custom hair, to be honest. It's probably one of the more complex things. It's even worse than weighting clothing and doing skin weights and stuff like that, if you ask me, custom hair. But yeah, no easy way. It's kind of a cop-out answer, but it's not really easy to make hair in any way. But yeah, modeling software is often the way to go. Blender is pretty good for making custom hair. Not that I've ever done it, but yeah, it's good for it. Nehemiah asks, can Character Creator 4 be used to make cartoon characters? I think I answered that one. Absolutely. Luca Cavallari asks, is there a way to set up texture sets before exporting a character, for example, the teeth and the tongue in one material? Yeah, it's a really quick and easy thing to do. If you want to, I don't know, let's take a clothed character, for example. You can actually bake all the stuff to your character before exporting. I'm not sure if this guy, what the, am I in clothing here? Oh, I am in clothing. No wonder. Um, Generally, you can go up to your materials on your character and just bake it. And I think there's an option to, for most export options, there's a checkbox or a radio button or whatever to bake all the materials together too. Just be aware the rule basically is that if you're exporting to a software that has auto setup like Unreal or Blender, those two mainly, you don't want to bake your textures because it won't recognize them. But if you have the textures separately, it'll apply them correctly. It'll apply the correct shaders. So generally, as a rule, if you're exporting to a software with auto setup like Blender or Unreal, don't bake your materials. So, for example, here, do not embed textures. That would be the same as baking your textures. Do not embed the textures. Okay, that's one way to just bake them to your character. That's the option there. You can, of course, delete unused morphs, which I normally do. Delete hidden faces, use subdivided mesh. Those are ways to optimize your character for export. And also here, you can basically just kind of this button here, auto link all object textures. Okay, so if two meshes are using the same texture, like for example, the body and the head might be using the same texture. Oh, we gotta go down here. If they're using one of the same texture maps, it just automatically links those and saves some time. Okay, so you can just use that share auto link all object textures up there. That's one way to do it. I think the other way to do it is like down here. It's also the same thing down here. Auto link materials. Okay. And I think you can only just bake upon export. Oh, no, you can bake skin color to diffuse map down here. This is for the digital skin shader. Okay, so this character uses what's called a digital skin shader for the body, or digital human skin shader. Okay, I guess I should say human. He's not an alien, right? Those are ways you can kind of, but generally I think upon export is the only is the best way to just embed everything, bake everything together. Yes, we can watch the webinar later. Ed says, I love this community so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ed. That's a really awesome compliment. I'm so happy that the community's been good to you and we're helping each other out. We do have a really good community, Reallusion, especially our cartoon animator community is really active and really fun. The 3D guys are a bit more technical, of course, but still fun and really good to see all the creations and people working together. Lovely users we have. So thanks everyone for that, and thank you, Ed. A couple more questions we'll do here, and then I gotta get to the World Series, man. Anuj asks, would it be possible to invite contest winners from India to share their workflows? Yeah, I think great. Anuj, from you and anyone else from India, we'd love to get your insights and ideas about how we can, work together more with Indian users. I know there's tons of them. So yeah, we're definitely open to more feedback. You're welcome, Mike. Michael Hickman there. Shoot, Ed has one question. Many times I try to drag animations onto some character and it says they're not compatible. How do I make them compatible so I can use all animations on them? So there's a number of different types of characters. I'm not sure if you're aware, but if you select your character and you go up here to modify, or sorry, attributes rather, you can see this one is a CC base plus. Okay, it's in edit mode right now, and a CC base plus is basically our standard character creator for character. I know it says CC3, but it's actually plus is for the 4, I guess. I don't know how it goes, but anyways, that's the character type for this guy. There are some other types of characters that you can't apply the same motions to, especially if it's an external motion, like that blender motion I applied to the character. Because when you rig a character in AccuRig, it just automatically gives you the CC3 base plus rig. All right. So the full body rig is compatible with everything, which is awesome. Okay. But some older characters and some custom characters, they're not the same type of character. I'm trying to think in our library generally which ones, for example, would be like that. Oh, let's try business people. I know the ActorCore characters. So it used to show in the attributes at the top there what kind of character it was. What in the dealio? Oh, we're an iClone, that's why. Okay. Yeah. Um, just edit your character in character creator there. Generally in character creator, it'll show up here in the attributes, what type of character you're using. And CC2 Plus, they're compatible with everything, all the motions that we have. We've made it so. Some of the older characters, like the game ready characters, for example, they won't have facial blend shapes, so they can't support facial animation, for example. Some characters will only have bones for the face, so they won't be able to support, facial animations with that use blend shapes or morph targets. And there's slightly different rigs as well. So you may, I'm going to show you where it says what kind of character you're using. You can see these are actor scan characters. It says on the bottom right of the thumbnail there. Once it loads the character, you'll see here. But hey, Christopher Woodrum says, I own the unofficial Reallusion users Discord server and has over 1,300 members. Christopher, that'd be great if you can just throw your Discord link or in the chat, or invite people to the chat if they want to be invited. Yeah, so Christopher Woodrum in the chat here has mentioned, or in the Q&A has mentioned, that he runs an unofficial Reallusion Discord server with over 1,300 members, which is awesome. Hopefully we can get the word out to more people for that. So, okay, back to the previous one here, Ed. You can see on the type here it says actor scan, which is a slightly different rig. Okay, it is still compatible with all the body motions, but the facial blend shapes will be less. If we take our other character, for example, this guy, and we bring him into character creator, let's replace it. He won't be an actor scan. I think he'll be like a game ready character. Oh, he's a CC3 plus. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, that's okay. A lot of these toon characters won't be the CC3 plus. You can see here that yeah, this one is. I don't want to go through the library and try and find the old ones, but just be aware of the character type up here in character creator. It's the best way to determine if it's compatible or not. Okay, Sylvan asks, when you transfer assets from Unreal, they came in white. How can you make it with textures and material? You're probably doing something wrong with either the export from iClone or the import into Unreal. Sylvan, so when you export from iClone or Character Creator, make sure that you choose the target tool preset again. So export FBX here. Okay, choose clothed character if you want your character to have clothing on. Okay, and the target tool preset up here, always choose Unreal. All right, the mesh in motion is up to you. Do not embed the textures because Unreal has auto setup. I mentioned that before. You can set a maximum texture size if you want. You can convert the image format. I don't do this normally, but those are the ones that you want to be aware of. Okay, and when you're loading into Unreal, there's not really a material import setting, is there? There's a couple, but I don't want to export a character in right now, but there is a couple of options that you need to make sure you select. If you have auto setup enabled and you import the character, it'll set up all the motions, or sorry, all the materials correctly. At the beginning, you just have to choose, it'll prompt you to choose a standard shader or high quality shader or whatnot. So just be aware of that. Okay, so here's a Discord link from Christopher. If any of you guys are interested in checking out the unofficial Discord there, I just do that in the chat for you guys. Anonymous asks, is there an indie price point for the live plugin? It's almost 1K. This is quite steep. Absolutely. Yeah, there is. Honestly, just apply for it. There's an application you can fill out to apply for the indie pricing of Live Link. Almost anyone really qualifies for it, as long as you're not a large studio with lots of money. So, yeah. Anonymous asks, do you go to implement render zdepth in iClone? Do you go to include zdepth in the render of iClone? No. Well, zdepth if you're talking about um like depth of field. Well, looks like one of our helpers here is answering that one. So yeah, you'll get a answer from Alonzo in just a moment here. I'm not sure because I don't know ZBrush very much. So um, okay. One more from Ken. Ken Sims. That's the mayor of Vancouver. Anyways, planning on getting back into Reallusion for my winter hobby. What program would you use to make a character out of a country flag? I need a flag to speak and move like a breeze. I'm guessing Cartoon Animator would be. Honestly, Ken, I think you'd have a much easier time in Cartoon Animator doing something like that. Um, you can just put on some googly eyes onto a flag and you can morph the flag around. I mean, flags when it comes to 3D, you're gonna have to use physics and all that stuff. I think it's much easier to kind of like manually animate it in Cartoon Animator because Cartoon Animator has like spring effects, right? And you can have like mesh deformation. It's just much easier to do in Cartoon Animator. Ken, if I was doing it personally, I would probably use Cartoon Animator for that, unless you really want to use 3D, because it's just a whole more complicated process in 3D to do that. Okay, Ivan asks, what's the best motion capture service for iClone? I personally love Rococo. I've been using Rococo for a long time. We've done webinars with Rococo in the past. They're a great team. I think the Rococo guys are top class, and the hardware is, very affordable. It's not like tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars like a lot of the other stuff is, but very accessible for the average person. I mean, it's not like $10 for a suit. It's like, a couple thousand or whatever. But compared to the alternatives, I think it's great. I like Rococo. Obviously, if you have, if money's not an issue, you can go into other ones as well. But I think they're fairly accessible, and they've been fairly consistent, good customer service, and yeah, that'd be my suggestion. And they have the gloves as well as the facial capture now too. So um Alvin asks, is Reallusion still giving out grants in the pitch and produce for animators who use iClone and Unreal? I don't think there's pitch and produce going on anymore, but I'm pretty sure we'll have it back in the future. So stay tuned, Alvin. I think that's a good question. We're always having contests every year, all the time. So yeah, check back for sure. Thank you, Ken. All right, one more question from anonymous attendee. The minimum PC requirements to run the software. Um, just go up to Reallusion, on the main site. Basically, any of the products you'll find. So, for example, iClone. If you go up here to Overview, just go to System Requirements here, and you'll find the system requirements. Hopefully, that answers your question there. Basically, any software we have, go to Overview and System Requirements there. You'll find all the stuff you need. Is there some way to render 360 videos in 3D, not only 180, 3D, or 60? From Fernando. Yeah. Maybe talking about VR, AR. There's some render options in iClone for that. If you go to like render video, for example, um, you can export alpha video only for transparent video. There's 3D stereo. So this is for, 3D glasses and stuff. There's a 3D 360 panorama. Okay, so this is for, if you're doing that for like YouTube or Facebook, you want to like move the camera around while the video's playing or whatever. That's that option right there. So there's a few of them, but yeah, I'm not sure if I've made any tutorials on that yet, but yeah, good question, Fernando. But mess around with those anyways. They're in the help file, I know for sure. So All right. Looks like all the questions are all finished up here. So yeah, awesome. Thanks so much everyone for being here today. It was great having you along. Hopefully you learned a little bit about how to make the how the workflows between Blender and Unreal and iClone, can really make your workflow more efficient. I think they're both fantastic tools. Live Link, auto setup for both of them. Data Link I just showed you completely free and amazing for both sculpting, motions, posing, anything. You can also update materials as well, which is something I didn't cover, but we'll be launching a tutorial, I think this week or next week, that talks about how you can actually just replace your character's clothing in iClone and Blender. Just send it over and it replaces the clothing, adding accessories, all that fun stuff. It's really cool. Yeah. All right. So make sure you fill out the surveys, get the 10% discount for the content store, and help us along with any future topics you want to learn about. And yeah, again, love to have you guys along. Let's go watch the World Series right now. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for being here, guys. Take care.